Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Joe Kraut Subs podcast. Today, I'll be reading an interview with Bojan Cvjetićanin for Slovenske Novice, written by Robert Rebol and Tomaž Rupnik, with photos provided by Jan Pevec. A successful procrastinator. 2020 was supposed to be the year for the young Ljubljana's Bežigrad band, which has announced their breakthrough into stardom through dedication and songs like Gola and Vem da Greš. Bojan is currently one of the most popular musicians, loved by both girls and boys alike. Last year, we made a plan that was supposed to withstand anything, even a bullet. On the 1st of April, we would have released the album, presented it at 2 events in Ljubljana's Cvjetićana, and then we would have had a summer full of concerts. Unfortunately, everything fell through. If we can't support the album with concerts, it doesn't make sense to release it for now. The 21-year-old singer and songwriter, whose future is expected to be dazzling, described the unexpected turn of events. The 5 Joe Kraut members from Ljubljana have been making waves with great music for some time now. Interviewer: how are you coping with the disruption of these events that are important to you? Bojan: at first, we found the whole situation funny. We thought everything would normalise within 2 months. Back then, I was quite inactive and uncreative, and with each passing month, my mood became even more gloomy. Realisation that this could drag on for a long time has a significant impact on your psyche, and while there's widespread belief among the people that this is now a period of new creativity, I've created very little myself. I was grieving more than anything else. Interviewer: we're hearing a lot of criticism about the immature behaviour of young people, partying, ignoring experts' warnings, but there are also those who are very responsible. Which of those are you? Bojan: my perspective is that young people here are actually quite responsible. I think they are aware of the warnings and don't socialise recklessly. Recently, I went out for the first time in 5 months. In front of Kino Šiška, around 50 people had gathered. It was very calm, people socialised within their groups and kept their distance. I'd say we don't have a problem with ultra parties here. What seems more problematic to me is that the restrictions on cultural events are extremely strict and, without any legal basis, prevent a huge number of people from working and making a living. Meanwhile, at Brezje, a few thousand people gathered without any sanctions. Most of them belonged to the critical age group, and on top of that, they didn't follow safety measures. It seems to me that a lot of blame is being shifted onto young people, but in reality, those who were the most active in breaking the rules during the pandemic were about 15 years older than us. Interviewer: what are the strongest values you've taken from home? Bojan: my parents taught me to always be honest, no matter what I do, because no amount of money can replace a clear conscience and fair earnings. In our family, we're also very compassionate and respectful towards all people. Both of them supported me greatly in my creative endeavours and gave me everything I wanted, as long as I was fair to them and fulfilled my responsibilities. Interviewer: and you did fulfil them? You weren't a rebel? Bojan: and I did, yes. I wasn't a rebel. Maybe I had a few moments in secondary school, but that's probably pretty normal. Interviewer: were you a nerd? Bojan: a terrible procrastinator, brackets, laughs. Every year at the start of the school year, I promised myself it would be different this time. Before school began, I'd buy new notebooks, pens, a pencil case, and all the supplies, tidy up my desk, make and hang up schedules. It would last maybe 3 days, and then I was even worse than the previous year. A disaster, brackets, laughs. Only now at university, I'm studying sociology, am I a little more diligent, but I'm still quite a procrastinator. Interviewer: which was your favourite subject and which caused you the most trouble? Bojan: the worst was definitely maths, but that's entirely my fault because from elementary school to the end of high school, I probably did a total of 10 homework assignments. Awful. Of course, you can't learn maths that way. During periods when I focused on it, I didn't have any problems. I also really liked my maths teacher. My favourite subjects were sociology and history, and over time, I became happy that we learned Latin as well. I won't single out physical education. We also played football there, which was fantastic. Interviewer: so football is your favourite sport? Bojan: I'm a fan of extreme sports, especially the acrobatic version of wakeboarding, brackets, the most adrenaline-filled version of surfing, editor's note. I also love fast cars. I used to train judo, but I had to quit because of severe migraines, and then I started playing football. So yes, it's probably my favourite sport now. Interviewer: Do you follow Cristiano Ronaldo's discipline as a counterbalance to the temptations of rock and roll? Bojan, in that respect, I'm more like Diego Maradona, brackets, laughs. Interviewer, let me guess. When it comes to music, you're less of a procrastinator? Bojan, not at all, brackets, laughs. I'm not musically educated, which I also deeply regret. As a child, I never showed any interest in music, so naturally my parents didn't enroll me in music school. It was only later that I started taking private guitar lessons, and at the age of 12, I learned everything I know to this day. Unfortunately, when it comes to learning instruments, I'm the same kind of procrastinator I was in high school. As for writing music and lyrics, I only create when I feel a strange inspiration that I have to write it down. It's very hard for me to just sit down and start writing. I deeply regret this. If we look at the history, the Beatles, John Lennon and Paul McCartney reportedly had regular creative meetings, and not one of them ended without a song being written. This means they wrote thousands of songs in their lives, whereas literally everything I write eventually gets released. Interviewer, from today's perspective, what would you teach your own children? Bojan, I'd like to have kids as young as possible. Interviewer, really? Bojan, really? I've even picked out the names already, brackets, laughs. Interviewer, please share them with us. Bojan, brackets, laughs. Oh no, I can't reveal them yet. Someone might steal them. I'll tell you, but you can't write them down, brackets, laughs. Anyway, continuing on, I definitely teach them everything my parents taught me. I believe those are very good values and solid foundations on which a person can then grow in the right direction. I also think education and the ability to think abstractly are very important. My parents strongly encouraged this in both me and my sister, and although it might seem like I resisted them a bit in the educational part, I'm endlessly grateful to them today for all their encouragement. Interviewer, what do you value most about your parents? Bojan, with my father, definitely his humility. With my mother, it's how well she listens and how compassionate she is. Interviewer, you seem very confident, but are you truly confident deep down as well? Bojan, I am. I never had any problems with this, and when I work, I know what I'm doing. I also feel like I'm good at sensing and reading people, and I know how to respond to them. I'm open to those who are open to me, but others don't interest me. I guess it all stems from respect. Interviewer, how are you with girls? Bojan, also very respectful. It's true that I'm quite flirtatious, so I like confident girls who might even out-flirt me in this regard. I really like that. I've only had one somewhat serious girlfriend, but I always try not to be rough, rude or impolite, although I'm sure there were times when I was. But my main guiding principle is to be a good person. I don't support violence. It should be stopped at all costs. Interviewer, at first glance, confidence and modesty don't seem to go hand in hand. Bojan, but that's exactly it. My father is incredible in this regard. I admire him greatly. He's an extremely intelligent and successful man, a doctor, a surgeon. He's achieved so much in life and has provided my sister and I with almost everything. Then I feel embarrassed when I catch myself getting excited about material things and wanting everything, even though I haven't achieved anything in life yet and can't afford those things. My father, who could afford a lot and truly deserves it, doesn't have that need or desire. Such things mean nothing to him. He always brings me back to reality, as I feel bad about myself at these realizations, like a completely spoiled brat. Interviewer, successful people are usually very hardworking, and with work comes absence, and no material thing can replace the absence of parents. How is it for you? Bojan, my father worked from early morning when I also went to school, and he'd come home late in the afternoon just as I was returning from sports activities after school. My mother, also a doctor, a paediatrician, had a well-organised work schedule, so we were able to spend our free time together. My father always made time to attend my matches, and later neither he nor my mother missed any significant concerts. My parents always made plenty of time for my sister and I. I have absolutely no complaints in this regard. Interviewer, I know firsthand that you're very popular among both girls and the gay community. Are you aware of this? Bojan, I knew about the girls, but I didn't know I was confirmed to be popular in the gay community. However, I've recently met quite a few gay people and they've told me that I am. I admit that I really like this. I'm a big supporter of people being free to be who they are, and if everyone can connect with my lyrics, which are usually written as love songs for women, I feel like I've achieved a lot. In general, the gay people I've met have been incredibly kind and cool, and they're amazing partygoers, so I definitely enjoy their company. Interviewer: on stage, you have such a nonchalant presence. Bojan: in life, I'm not nonchalant, but on stage, I always switch to a different version of myself. I stop caring about everything. I feel invincible and nobody can touch me. In this aspect, I strongly identify with Liam Gallagher's persona from the band Oasis. Interviewer: in this sense of immortality, many musicians have lost their compass later in life, along with their voices and even their hearing. What about you? Are you being careful? Bojan: I'm very concerned about my voice. At least 3 or 4 days before a concert, I avoid partying and staying up late because I'm terrified of losing my voice on stage. As for hearing, I hope I won't have any issues, since we always use noise-cancelling earplugs during rehearsals, and at concerts I wear special headphones to control the volume of the sound reaching me. While some old rockers might call us soft, I don't care. I definitely don't want to be deaf and voiceless at 60. Right now, my band and I are ready to do whatever it takes to make it big and turn this into our full-time job. You know, after all, we have to work a bit too, brackets, laughs. Interviewer: by co-hosting this year's Aim Afresh alongside Maja Pintaric on national television, you also tried your hand at hosting. If you could evaluate yourself, are you satisfied? Do you think you have a talent for hosting? Bojan: my first real hosting gig was in 9th grade at a school anniversary event. Objectively speaking, I did very well, and that's when my mum openly said for the first time that I was truly born for the stage. Before that, she didn't take me seriously when I mentioned wanting to work in show business. Later, I hosted almost all events in secondary school, got some bigger opportunities later, attended a drama club and so on. Honestly, I think there's a host in me too, but it's clear that I still have a lot of work to do if I want to become really good. Regarding Aim Afresh, I think I did my job well. If I'd have prepared better, I could have done very well. Unfortunately, the procrastinator in me won again. Thanks for listening. For the original translation and many more translations, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, YouTube and Tumblr under the name Joker Out Subs.